Now, Hurricane Ian makes landfall with 150-mile-per-hour wind as the catastrophic Category 4 storm hits Florida. And take a look at this. A boat came loose from its moorings, and debris was seen being carried down the Gordon River in Naples, Florida. And here's a look at Hurricane Ian. Ian made landfall at the same location as Hurricane Charlie did back in 2004. And we have team coverage tonight from the storm, how it could impact you, and what we're doing here in the DMV, helping those in the path of Hurricane Ian. Let's begin with Chief Meteorologist Janessa Webb. Good evening, Janessa.
Hi, we are still dealing with this massive storm system that's very robust at this time. As you said, it has made landfall, but you can see the eye, the northeast quadrant, continues to really wreak havoc across sections of Cape Coral right now. So these outer bands, we will continue to watch for the highest storm surge. We have life-threatening situation that will continue to unfold. The National Hurricane Center putting out a storm surge of 12 to 18 feet. And so we're going to continue to watch that. Now, the current track is super important right now. As it has pushed on shore, we are still talking about a Cat 4 storm. So it hasn't lost any force, and we're going to continue to watch that for the next few hours. Sustained wind speeds, that means constant right now of 140 miles per hour. And so that will be consistent looking into the rest of the evening all the way into your Thursday morning, potentially going down now to a Cat 1. Now look who is in the cone of uncertainty. Orlando. And so we're going to continue to watch that track for Central Florida as well. Still going to be dealing with Cat 1 conditions with winds up to 85 miles per hour. Right now, there is multiple alerts that are currently in place. Besides the winds, the major impacts, they are far-reaching, expanding now into Georgia and parts of the Carolinas. To break that down, we have Damon.
Janessa, yeah, indeed. This has just been a powerful, powerful storm here with basically a three-pronged threat. You have the wind, you have the storm surge, and you have the rain that is also going to be associated with it. Again, we cannot emphasize enough how dangerous of a situation it is unfolding right now in Fort Myers. I have seen multiple videos coming out of downtown Fort Myers, boats floating past homes as this storm surge is really now getting pushed in, as this entire area is likely to be under 12 to 18 feet of water, and that's from ground levels. Think about that above your head. That's how much water is going to be in some areas that are typically just regular streets, regular homes, neighborhoods, all going to be underwater with time, and that includes all the way down the Florida shoreline as well. Now, the rainfall, this is the other thing we're talking about as the storm moves inland. Look at this. We're going to see a swath of up to 20 inches of rain across the rest of the Florida peninsula, and then watch. This storm is eventually going to push north. A lot of rain expected over the Carolinas, and then we start to see some rain as we go into the weekend. Just how much are we talking? Are we going to see any major impacts from the remnants of Ian? We'll have a look at that for you coming up here in just a bit.
All right, thank you, Damon and Janessa, and we'll check back with them in a little bit. Right now, you know, we're still monitoring the impacts of Hurricane Ian in Florida, with some people deciding to ride out the storm and others evacuating. DC News Now's Annalisa Gale joins us with a look at the response from leaders. Annalisa.
Well, Mark, just behind me here, these are just some of the tweets that were coming in as people were preparing for that storm to make landfall. We know there's been lots of flooding, trees down in that area, and just some breaking news from our sister station at WFLA. We've learned recently that 1 million Floridians are now without power, with people sharing remarkable video of flooding and fallen power lines in places like Naples, Florida. In his latest update, Governor Ron DeSantis says he's expecting flooding throughout Florida, including Central and Northeast Florida, as he now seeks financial assistance from the federal government.
There's going to be widespread power outages, particularly in Southwest Florida.
There are 7,000 National Guardsmen on standby to help. We'll continue tracking this with more information coming in from social media. Live in the studio, Annalisa Gale, DC News Now.
Annalisa, thank you. Now we head over to Fort Myers, Florida, where they are facing destructive winds and shelter-in-place orders. Elizabeth Lane shows us the latest.
This is the worst we've seen of Hurricane Ian. Take a look. We're in an emergency wind warning right now. That means everyone is supposed to be sheltered in place inside a room on the lower level of their house with no windows. You can see some of the debris that's already been ripped off of that billboard and flying around as these winds intensify. We've also got some street lights just hanging by a thread there over on the power poles. Really going to create quite a bit of an issue later once everyone's able to come back out of their safe place. But right now, power is out for at least 200,000 Floridians. The governor, Ron DeSantis, expecting that number could be more in the millions as people are continuing to brace for what has become a very dangerous Category 4 hurricane in Ian. Reporting in Fort Myers, I'm Elizabeth Lane.
Elizabeth, thank you. Well, local volunteers from the D.C. area are in Florida taking care of evacuees and preparing to give supplies to those in need. D.C. News Now's Daniel Hamburg talked with members of the Red Cross and World Central Kitchen. Daniel, a lot of volunteers from our area are definitely stepping up.
That's absolutely right, Mark. Thousands of people spent last night in shelters in Florida, but many are staying put and waiting out the storm. Those volunteers from our area are critical to helping people as the storm hits, and especially afterward. Thousands of Floridians were told to evacuate their homes with no place to go.
There's a few hundred shelters right now in Florida with tens of thousands of people in them overnight. That making sure they had a safe place last night and making sure they have a safe place tonight.
The American Red Cross, one of the biggest organizations running those shelters, with about 20 volunteers from the D.C. area on the ground.
Volunteers from the DMV that are here are working in shelters. They're working in operations leadership roles, making sure that everything is where they needs to be. They're working in logistics roles, right? Is the truck with the stuff at the right place at the right time?
Dale Kuntz, CEO of the National Capital and Greater Chesapeake region, says they're hunkered down right now in Orlando.
As the storm passes, we'll shift our focus to making sure that people do have long-term shelter if they need that. If their home has been destroyed, make sure that they have food, make sure that they have water.
To that end, other organizations, including DC-based World Central Kitchen, are gearing up to feed tens of thousands of people.
Our hot meal service will start tomorrow, and our chefs are preparing some pasta bolognese, and we'll have salads to accompany that as well. So it's all hands on deck here just to make as many sandwiches as possible. We're shooting for 10,000 today.
Director of Relief Operations Fiona Donovan is in Tampa with teams ready to mobilize across the state.
Our team is ready to serve over 40,000 meals a day, and from there, we'll be increasing our capacity every day to scale to meet the need.
They have about 25 people working today and will be welcoming volunteers tomorrow.
We're really tracking the storm surge, the wind speeds, the anticipated flooding, and being prepared to send teams in as soon as it's safe to get boots on the ground and be ready to serve.
The Red Cross says the best way to help is through financial donations so they can determine what supply needs are, and they're urging people to donate blood too. In the studio, Daniel Hamburg, DC News Now.
Daniel, thank you. We're going to continue our coverage of Hurricane Ian during our newscast and throughout the evening. Well, breaking news in Prince George's County. A stabbing investigation puts a nearby high school on lockdown. You're looking live at the scene on University Boulevard just outside the city of Hyattsville. Information is very limited right now. We don't have a condition on the victim. Police say that Northwest High was on lockdown but was eventually dismissed early. Count on us to bring you any breaking details as we learn them. Well, new tonight, the son of a slain local boxing legend spoke for the first time since his father was murdered. Just days away from his first match. DC News Now sports director Derek Forrest joins us with more. And Derek, a very emotional time. What did he have to say tonight?
Yeah, thanks a lot, Mark. Yeah, it was very emotional on the Zoom earlier today. Dusty Hernandez Harrison lost his father last Saturday as Dusty was set to make his return to the ring this weekend in round 3 of the Beltway Battles boxing event in D.C. Dusty has been on a 2-year hiatus and said despite the news he will fight this weekend. It is what his father, Buddy Harrison, would have wanted. Buddy has been Dusty's boxing trainer his entire life, and their relationship is what helped Dusty remain undefeated in his boxing career with a record of 34-0-1. Earlier today, Dusty spoke with the media about why he decided to fight this weekend and how ready he feels to enter the ring.
I needed something to kind of hold myself accountable. I mean, I got to weigh in Friday. I got to fight Saturday. And I think it's something that I needed, and I think it's something that my dad would have wanted because he was at his best when I was fighting. He loved the fact that I was fighting, and it made him happy. So it was an easy decision to make. I think I talked about it like 2 days later with Cornflake, and he was like, for real, you sure? I was like, yeah, I'm sure. And then we moved forward with it. So it was a couple things that went into play with the decision, but it was an easy choice to make to fight again.
Now, round 3 of the Beltway battles is this Saturday at 7 p.m. from the Entertainment and Sports Arena in D.C., with weigh-ins Friday at noon. We will have full coverage of the fight this Saturday. Mark?
Derek, thank you. We certainly wish that young man the best. We'll say hello to 227, Maryland's newest area code. The area code will overlap regions of 240 and 301 area, including Prince George's, Montgomery, and Washington counties. Now, it will only be assigned when remaining phone numbers are completely used up by the second half of 2023.